One day at a school playground, everyone is engaged in various activities. A man, seeing them from behind the ground's railing, a lollipop in his mouth, thought they are learning physical education. The girls are running on the track, and some are playing volleyball. His nose started bleeding suddenly, but it didn't affect him as he calmly said that youth is good too. The girl called for her teacher Tong and said there's a man who's been glaring at them for a while now. The teacher noticed him and said he must be a pervert who likes watching girls learning physical education. Now, she's going to deal with him. The student said to her teacher to be careful. Another girl called teacher Tong again, saying they needed her help. She diverted her attention to them and said she's coming, so everyone should stand still. The teacher came to them running and saw that Yuzai was lying on the floor unconscious. Everyone was calling her name to wake her up. It seemed like she had a sunstroke, so the teacher said to everyone standing there that they should spread out so that the air circulation would be better, and she's going to do artificial breathing for Yuzai now. The teacher Tong performed artificial breathing by pumping her chest and giving the air mouth to mouth, but nothing worked out. Yuzai didn't respond once, so teacher Tong called 2 students to help her carry Yuzai to the nurse's room. The man from earlier sat behind the teacher, 2 paper rolls in his nose this time, and said to wait. The teacher gets scared and panics a little due to his sudden appearance. This man is scaring the shit out of people. Lol, she said. Are you the pervert who secretly stared at us? What do you want? Don't bother my students. He shushed the teacher and said very seriously that Yuzai may have fainted because of a sudden heart failure, and that they shouldn't move her casually. When the teacher heard this, she was shocked, and he added that her life might be in danger. The teacher worriedly said, Yuzai, you have to be alright. The teacher asked the man if he said Yuzai's life could be in danger, and why she should believe him. The girl from behind called her teacher and said that she remembered Yuzai telling her before that there was a time when she fainted on the way to the hospital. Yuzai was unstable and almost died. She might bring a bottle of drugs. After taking it, she may be okay. The teacher found the bottle of drugs in her pocket as she searched for it, but unfortunately it was empty, and the smell was very, disgusting. The man said as he expected Yuzai fainted because of heart failure. The odor must be 13 types. It's a Chinese medicine for the heart. The person who prescribed it is an expert. The teacher was surprised because of his knowledge of medicine and everything. So she asked him who is he, and he calmly responded that he studies Chinese medicine and his name is Xingyu. The teacher asked Xingyu if he knew any method to wake her up, and Xingyu replied to her that artificial breathing with heart massage at the same time was a good choice. But as we all know, teacher Tong had already done the artificial breathing and massaged her heart, but it was useless and he also saw it. According to Xingyu, she collapsed due to heart failure, and someone with sufficient lung capacity requires to provide her with artificial breathing. He also said that he could save her, providing she must wake up within 10 minutes or she would be in danger. Teacher Tong estimated the time, and it was almost 8 minutes, so if what he said was true, the teacher agreed with him and said sorry for the trouble. Xingyu started to warm up, cranking his arms and saying that he's a doctor and healing people is his duty. He requested everyone to turn around, or else he wouldn't be able to let go of his hands and feet. Teacher Tong suspiciously looked at him because she didn't understand the meaning of his last sentence. Teacher Tong thought that she might be overthinking things. Xingyu came here, he must be the school's doctor, and if anything happened to Mao Yuzai, the school would be in trouble too. So she agreed to his request and said to everyone there to turn around, and no one should turn back again. Everyone did as instructed, and Xingyu started his work, as he said he should make some things clear first that, as a doctor, he doesn't separate male or female patients, so whatever he does, the only purpose is saving people. Xingyu added that she shouldn't be surprised by what he would do. If not, neither saving her nor her reputation is good. The teacher blasted at him with her anger as he kept talking, and it was almost 9 minutes. She's red like a tomato now and asked him if he mean to save her. He nervously said, "Alright," feeling small in front of her anger. Xingyu lifted her shirt and untied her bra. Here, the teacher is again shocked by his actions. She asked him to stop and questioned what is he doing. Unbothered by her tone, he replied, obviously untying her bra, and as a physical education teacher, she must have learned some first aid knowledge. He doubted, saying, "Don't tell me you don't know that." Well, teacher Tong knew that before doing first aid for a person, it was necessary to release the chest. It is the most fundamental knowledge. Xingyu stared at Yuzai's bra, and the teacher asked if something was wrong. He replied to her after observing that it's pinky, and his nose started bleeding again. At first, teacher Tong didn't understand what he meant, but when it clicked with her, she yelled at him again, "Can't he be more serious? Quickly save her. There are only 30 seconds left till 10 minutes will be completed." He hid her bra, declared that 30 seconds are enough, and then asked teacher Tong to move aside so he could perform his unique technique. She moved aside and admitted that despite teaching physical education, she still forgot to undo her bra. Meanwhile, Xingyu was standing on his hands, and when she saw him like that, she was again surprised and asked him what is he doing. She told him to save her and not to perform vaudevilles. Xingyu waved his one hand in the air, and then pressed his finger in the middle of Yuzai's chest with pressure, and she winced in pain. The teacher also gets some hope as she responds, and then Xingyu said it's the right time to transfer the internal airstream into her body, so he takes a deep breath and connected his mouth to hers for passing air. The moment was pretty awkward for teacher Tong, and she didn't understand where she should look, left or right. She believed it was good that all the kids turned around because Yuzai's reputation would have been ruined had anyone seen this. Xingyu stood up straight and said, done wiping his mouth, and again teacher Tong was surprised, saying what? Then she called Yuzai's name, and she responded, still a little unconscious but better than before. And lastly, Xingyu said that she woke up and now he had to go, and she could find him at the office of the Q Vice Chancellor if there is any problem. And he started to leave. Xingyu told teacher Tong to find him at the office of the Q Vice Chancellor, so she started thinking Q is the principal of this school, and the school's hospital was under her control, so could he be the new doctor? It was not easy to be employed by Ms. Q, so he must be talented and probably her age. Xingyu stopped and asked teacher Tong, could you please tell me where Principal Q's office is? The fact that he was employed through Ms. Q fascinated her, but now that he has asked her a stupid question, she is beginning to have second thoughts about him. She told him the directions to Ms. Q's office and asked whether he knew her because he didn't even know the location of her office. The girl called teacher Tong to say Yuzai had awakened. Teacher Tong told everyone they could do whatever they wanted and that she would care for Yuzai. Yuzai said she feels good now and that her chronic disease was the cause of her fainting when she was asked if she was feeling better. She didn't expect that the frequency of her illness relapse had increased recently. Teacher Tong said that she shouldn't stay alone as her life might be at risk, and she also shouldn't do intense exercises because they are dangerous for her. Yuzai told teacher Tong that she has a strange dream that there was a man, and she looked at her chest at that moment and asked, a little panicked, what is this? Her bra has disappeared. Teacher Tong nervously tried to answer her as she remembered Xingyu putting it in his pocket, and she forgot about it. Teacher Tong helped Yuzai in standing up and helped her to go to the school hospital. And teacher Tong told her, when she fainted, she untied her bra to ensure that her chest was not under pressure, and she gave it to another student. Yuzai thanked teacher Tong as she told her that she had forgotten who another student was. She will ask her later. Xingyu said that he was going to Principal Q's office, so now teacher Tong had to go there quickly to take Yuzai's bra back, and if she didn't make it fast, her lie would be revealed. Xingyu is searching for Principal Q's office. He had walked a kilometer to come here. That's why this school is called the best university in China. He saw the plate of Principal Q's office and opened the door, saying, excuse him. He asked if this is the office of Principal Q hangs in. In the room, there was a table. On one side a female was sitting, and opposite her, a man was sitting. The female said it was her as the male looked back at Xingyu with a suspicious expression. Xingyu observed her and thought that she's pretty beautiful. Her body is also perfect, and her face looked too cool. The man sitting on the chair adjusted his suit and asked, you are Xingyu, aren't you? He stood up and approached Xingyu to introduce himself, as he said he's Long Tangyun, Hong Xin's boyfriend and the general manager of Long Cooperate. Long Tangyun extended his hand for a shake and thought that he's the young master of Chuangcheng, and want to see how a poor guy like Xingyu could compare to him. Xingyu was confused hearing that Hong Xin has a boyfriend because Grandpa Q said to him Hong Xin didn't have a boyfriend a month ago. It could be that he had only established a relationship with her in this 1 month. Xingyu pinched Long Tangyun's index finger and said, nice to meet you. He's Xingyu, a descendant of the Spring and Autumn royal family, the finance of Azin. Long Tangyun gets irritated with his behavior as he didn't take his hand, and then Xingyu banged his hand aside. He said to Xingyu that he still has to use a child's kiss and ass arrow, Xin, and he is FR, and they love each other deeply. Xin's family had also accepted him. Long Tangyun started to question Xingyu. What about you? Did you meet her before? Do you have a relationship with her? Can Xin's family accept you? And will Xin be able to accept you? Q thought that Long Tangyun is worthy of being the general manager of Long Cooperate. Clever words, and that with critical thinking responses, normal people couldn't compare to him. He was an excellent student at the Harvard University of the US. He's also the youngest one who got a doctor's degree at this university when he was only 26 years old. He is the lead of the 4 young masters of this city, a rare talent. His name sounded decent, but Xingyu responded that it seemed like he was uneducated from the way he spoke and asked him if he was less educated. After listening to him, Long Tengyun lost his cool and said he could hear all about how many years he had studied from anyone out there and asked him to tell how many years he had studied. Xingyu said, holding a comic book in his hand and with a calm expression, that he had read many books, such as Manhwa comics, manga comics, Korean comics, and American comics. In total, he has traveled around the world twice by reading those comics, and he hasn't gone to school before. Long Tengyun gets more frustrated as the comics are a kind of book for kids, and Xingyu told him that he was uneducated, so he wants to know how educated he is. Xingyu closed the comic and said he shouldn't look down on comics. Xingyu grabbed his shoulder and said, "So let me teach you a bit." Long Tengyun, answer me, with a serious expression, and asked, during 1,000 years of Chinese civilization, what has been worshipped the most? Long Tengyun proudly replied to him, it was filial piety. Qiu realized that this conversation is going in the wrong direction now. Long Tengyun was reminded by Xingyu that since filial piety was highly revered, their 2 grandfathers had agreed to their prior marriage. It betrays their filial piety if they don't grant their grandfather's wish, and that's what makes them the unfilial people who don't deserve to live in this world, who should be killed by lightning, who have no face to see anyone, he said fiercely. He proudly added that many beauties admire him and wanted to marry him, but he refused them. He has never met Xin, as Long Tengyun said. Xingyu pointed at Xin and said it shows that he came here just because of his filial piety, as he wasn't afraid of any risk when he decided to come. And what if Xin was an ugly woman? He still had to marry her. Xin offensively looked at him. Well, who wouldn't be offended after hearing that? Xin put her hands on the desk and stood up, saying, you said many beauties admire you and wanted to marry you, right? Xingyu again proudly said that's right, but she doesn't need to worry because they are just friends, and he hasn't done anything to betray her. Xin said calmly that if there are girls who admire him and want to marry him, it means that they like him. So she suggested that she will go home and tell Grandpa that we will cancel this marriage, and she will compensate him generously, and that she can cover his entire life. It implies that she would give Xingyu a sizable sum of money if he agreed to call off the wedding. Xin asked him how much money he wanted. Xingyu replied to her and asked how much money she has. But first, should we weep this kind out? Pointing at Long Tengyun. Long Tengyun grabbed Xingyu's shirt in anger and said, what did you say? Before they begin a fight, Xin called Long Tengyun and said, you must be busy now. He took the hint and started leaving the room, and Xingyu said to close the door when he left. Long Rengyun left the room, leaving both of them. Xingyu said to Xin that my wife, even if she wanted to find a fake boyfriend, should have found someone who looked better. That guy is not good. According to Xin, if he is truly good, he can even see through the lie, and she will never wed a man she doesn't love. So she said to Xingyu to tell her what she should do for him to cancel the marriage, because he is the kind of person who values filial piety much. According to Xingyu, he doesn't need anything. When his grandfather passed away, he pledged to marry her and have many children. He said to her while eating a lollipop. Xin thought he's a bastard, a bunch of kids. Does he think she's an old sow? Xin said to Xingyu, trying to convince him that besides money, once he agrees to cancel the marriage, she can let him meet beautiful girls. Xingyu said it does not sound bad, but he has a question, which is, how many beautiful girls she could give him, because he has already run into many beautiful girls in this school, and he realized that beauties are as common as clouds. His nose started bleeding again, and he said to her, wouldn't she mean to give all of them to him? If so, even the ancient emperor couldn't compare to him. He said this caught her off guard, and she aggressively swung her hand to give him a tight slap as she said that he's daydreaming, called him a bastard, and said he's shameless. The number of students in this school is 40,000. The number of females is 60%, so the number of beauties is also 60%. But he dodged her by bending backward. She attempted to kick him and stated that 15,000 students are female, and that he wanted to take all of them. He dodged her kick once more, and she continued, saying that even if he met one girl per day, it would take him roughly 40 years to meet them all. Xingyu said in a proud tone that not bad, it turns out that his wife has learned martial arts since she was a kid. Xin's leg was above his head. As he realized this and looked down a little, Xin got embarrassed and removed her leg. She got annoyed by his actions and called him a pervert and said burn in hell. She swung her leg again, this time backward, but he again dodged her, complimenting her, not bad, quick, and effective techniques, powerful attack. But its only pity is that her supporting leg is weak. He kicked her other leg, and she was imbalanced and fell on her desk. Xingyu holds Xin by her hands as she has fallen on her desk. Xin thought that she had learned and practiced martial arts since she was a kid. She didn't expect that she would become that weak in front of him, even though the strength to resist him is gone. She warned him to let her go or else she wouldn't forgive him. She was told no by Xingyu, who also said that if he released her, she would continue to strike him. Hence, he reasoned, he needed to tie her up first. He searched for something in his pocket to tie her, and he took a bra out of his pocket. Seeing it, Xin was flustered and shocked and asked why he brought that stuff with him and said that he's a pervert and she had to tell her grandpa. She demanded to let her go, but Xingyu tried her hands with the bra tightly. He finished tying her and said done while exhaling. Xin said in anger, tears filling her eyes, that he's a bastard. Since she was a kid, she had never experienced a shame like this, and she will definitely kill him for this. Xingyu sat in her seat as she stood in front of him. He said to her they can discuss their marriage. He had checked the calendar, and next Friday is a good day. Though it's a little hurry, everything should be fine if they manage things faster. Xin rejected his thoughts, saying she would never be like that and she will surely tell her grandpa about this, and he will be by her side. Xingyu said that Grandpa Q had already told him that she was all good at any aspect, but her characteristic. He added that her grandpa knew he had the ability and manners that he'd persuade her successfully. Xin wondered how her grandpa could stand by this moron when she is the one who is genuinely his grandchild and not him. She said to Xingyu that she knew he and her grandpa had met each other once. They even had a 4-hour-long talk together, although she doesn't know what they had talked about. Suddenly a knock was heard on her office's door and someone called from outside saying, "Principal Q, I am Tong Janjun. May I ask whether Dr. Xing is here?" Xin suspiciously thought Tong Janjun comes here to find Xingyu. It's rather strange because this guy has just arrived in Chengchuang City for the first time. How could they know each other? Tong even called him Dr. Xing, which means this guy had told her that he would come to her office. Xingyu said, "Is that Teacher Tong come in?" Xin, whose tied hands were facing the door, turned around quickly and said, "Who allows him to let her come in?" Teacher Tong came in, and Xin asked Teacher Tong what makes her come here to find Xingyu. Teacher Tong claimed that she came here to find Dr. Xing so that he could return the bra. Xin thought that the bra that Xingyu used to tie her is Tong Janjun. It seems like their relationship is so close. Even when there's a relationship between them, Tong Janjun isn't a fool. How could she dare come to my office taking the bra back? Xin observed her chest and reasoned that since she was dressed sportily, she couldn't see if she was wearing a bra. Xin is going in the wrong direction. She thinks that the bra belongs to Tong Janjun, but in reality, it's not like that. When she will know the reality of what will happen. Xin further thought that Tong Janjun's bra is in her hands, and if Xingyu wants to return it to Tong Janjun, so he has to untie me, so she will know that he used the bra to tie her. Xingyu said, so she came here to take the bra back. It's his bad, he forgot to return it to her. Teacher Tong said that it was her bad because she is the one who forgot to remind him. Xin thought while imagining them kissing that they must have hidden at some corner of this school to secretly do the bad thing. Then he has taken her bra off and put it in his pocket. After finishing their business, accidentally someone was wandering. They hurried up adjusting their outfits, and Xingyu forgot to return her bra. Xin is now thinking too much. She thought, does Tong Janjun know the relationship between her and Xingyu? She didn't want them to stay together, so she intended to make up this play. Xingyu stood up and said, waking Xin from her thoughts, that he used that bra too. After pausing, he continued by asking if he could keep the bra and return it to her later because he needed to use it for a bit. What does Xingyu want to use the bra of Yuzai for? Teacher Tong wondered. Teacher Tong was about to say something to Xingyu, but Xin interrupted her and said, Teacher Tong, if there is nothing else, she can go now. Teacher Tong said yes and started leaving, saying that she will go back to her class first. Teacher Tong thought that she feel there was something strange here. Xin thought as Teacher Tong was leaving she didn't expect Teacher Tong is that kind of person. Their relationship is close, but they still call each other's titles. They are shameless. Xin assumed the situation according to her thoughts and said to Xingyu when Teacher Tong left that she will give him 100 million and she will let him continue his relationship with Teacher Tong. Ms. Tong is also a stunning woman, and Xingyu claimed that he would never turn her down if she asked to be at his side. But they cannot call off their wedding. Xin said aggressively that he have no idea how many excuses she have thought of to cancel this marriage, how suffering she has experienced, how nights she has been sleepless, how many times she has asked her grandpa, but all are useless. It's such a waste of tears. Go away, Xingyu. She did better go away. And she demanded to not let her see his face anymore. It wouldn't be like that. I'm your fiancé. This marriage was predetermined by their grandfathers, and no one can annul it unilaterally, Xingyu told Xin, and added if she don't believe it, she can go home and ask her grandpa, and also her dad. There was her dad there at the moment. What must Zin do for him to dissolve this marriage, she inquired. Xingyu replied to her that she have to do nothing. This marriage was set by their grandfathers. You also know, my personality is pretty good. He is also extremely filial, and he will accept his grandfather's wish. He added that although his wife's boobs are a bit big, the butt is a bit saggy, the belt is a bit small, and the skin is a bit white. Zin said to him that she's warning him. He'd better cancel this marriage. She can dedicatedly fulfill his requests. Otherwise, even when she unwillingly marries him, she will do nothing for him and be angry all the time to let him never have happiness. He'd better think twice.